very much. Welcome everybody to Cyrusone's 15 Minutes of Fame here at Dell Tech World. I'm Fred Holloway. I manage the enterprise business for Cyrusone. And just for context, we build and operate data centers. And we've got about 60 data centers across the US and Europe that are currently operational. Another 50 under development right now. So there's a big boom in this market, and we're doing the best we can to take care of it. My goal here in the next couple of minutes is just to give you a sense of the industry, where it's going, some of the challenges that we're faced with, and then just to kind of share with you how we differentiate ourselves, particularly in this increasing demand for AI workloads that are in our facilities and operating across our facilities. So we design, build, and operate data centers. And what we're seeing between now and sort of 2029, 2030 is that the overall compounded annual growth rate of our industry is expected to be about 40% in total. If you just look at AI workloads, we're looking to closer to 75% CAGR over the next 5 years. So this industry is exploding. I think a lot of you probably understand that and understand why that is. And just to give you some context, it has a lot less to do with the square footage across our portfolio. It's got everything to do with power. Power is everything to our customers, particularly as they're deploying GPUs across their enterprises. The challenge we have is that you see here the blue bars, that's the demand. The green bars are the supply. So you don't have to be a genius mathematician to see we have a problem in our industry. And so what's going on is we're all fighting for the same power. We're all working with utilities to get not only land to develop, but also to get land with power. That is the key to what we're doing. Of course, we're looking at on-site generation. There are all sorts of things that we're looking at doing, but right now, today, the big fight, the big battle in our industry is getting access to land with power. The other challenge that we have, and I know this is a bit of an eye chart, but I'll just share a couple of highlights. Supply chain is another challenge. It's gotten a little bit better. To give you an example, we've actually brought our time to acquire generators down to 90 weeks. It was actually over that. So it's nearly 2 years from when we order a generator that we actually get it. And just to give you some context, our supply chain right now is about 500 megawatts, give or take. That's what we've committed to purchase over the next 18 months. If you're trying to build your own facilities or you're trying to upgrade existing facilities, it's going to be extremely difficult. Unless you're a competitor of ours or you're a hyperscaler, it's going to be very difficult for you to get access to the critical gear that you need in order to keep your data centers up and running. Switching gear, which is what we use to transfer back and forth between utility and the generators, it's a year. Chillers, which keep the data centers cool, it's over a year. So you've got to manage the supply chain very closely in order to do this. It's really, and the amount of money that we're talking about investing to be in this game, it's not for the faint of heart. It's billions of dollars. It takes a lot to get these facilities up and running. We're backed by KKR and BlackRock, so we've got great backers of our business, and that enables us to be able to do the things that we do. So just a little bit about why Cyrusone, or where we're headed. This picture is one of our newly designed IntelliScale buildings. This is a liquid-first building. In other words, we designed it anticipating that most of the racks of technology that will be in this data center or these data centers will be liquid cooled. But we also understand that our customers are on a journey. Some of those customers are further down the path of adopting liquid cooling across their enterprises, but some are not. Some are planning for it, they're not there yet. Everything is air cooled. This data center design can take you from air-cooled to liquid-cooled on your timeline, not ours. So that's another thing that's critical to understand. The investment that it takes to be able to fit out a facility like this, to be able to handle both air and liquid. Again, it's not for the faint of heart. This is serious money that goes into building out these facilities, and effectively what we do, this is just sort of a top view If you took the roof off the building, a top view of what we're doing. All of these buildings, in fact, all of the buildings that we've built over the last 5 years are pre-plumbed for liquid cooling. So we're ready to do it. We just bring the plumbing to your racks for those racks that require liquid cooling. Whether they're rear door heat exchangers or they're direct liquid to chip, it doesn't matter from our standpoint. We're just delivering the cool water to your racks. Right? So what we do here, this building is actually quite large. We don't need all the space in the data hall 1 and 2 there, because the rack deployments are actually, they're so dense in terms of the power draw. You use up the power long before you use up the square footage in the data hall, right? So, but where we need it is we need this room to put the generators, all the switch gear, UPS gear, all those what we call lineups. It just takes a lot of space in order for us to be able to, in this case, provide a 36 or 72 megawatt building. This is actually designed for 72 megawatts. Each data hall is designed for 36. Single story. When you get into liquid cooling, you're dealing with a lot of weight issues. So this newly designed liquid cooled first data center is 1 story. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. Our intent is always to work with you all to understand your journey, and that way we know how to tweak the design. We come into the standard design in order to be able to provide quick time to build. It takes us about 15 months from when we get permitting completed to stand up and have a data center ready for service, which in our industry is pretty good timing. It takes others well over 18 months to bring data centers online. So that's kind of where we are. This is how we differentiate ourselves. It's not about the square footage, it's not about the land, it's about the power, and it's about the power densities that makes the difference. So thank you all very much. Hopefully I did it within the 15 minutes allotted. I did want to share with you one other thing. This was kind of a quick drive-by. We have a suite in the Palazzo Tower. It's the 3rd floor, 3916. There's some members of my team here that have little cards. If you want to take a few minutes and do a little bit of a deep dive with us, we're going to be up there this afternoon. Just for convenience, there'll be some beers, there'll be some wine. If you'd like to have a beer, a glass of wine, come join us. We're more than happy to talk to you, maybe a little bit about the portfolio, maybe some use case discussions, whatever you'd like to hear from us. We'd love to have that chat with you. I think I actually have a couple of minutes. If any of you have any questions, we could take them now while there's a little bit of time.
Yeah, I'll bring a microphone over to you, sir. So the single floor design, are we placing everything on a concrete slab, no raised floors anymore because of the weight issues?
Great question. So a lot of customers, when we were first adopting liquid cooling, were thinking that it would just be on a slab. What we've learned, and we may find another solution, but what we've learned now is it's pretty handy to still have the raised floor, and you bring the plumbing in under the raised floor. We can handle the weight of your racks. We can design for that. But what we've found is a lot of our customers don't want the water running above their racks for obvious reasons. So we're still using raised floor and we're running the water underneath. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah. What kind of issues have your customers had with co-location liquid cooling? For instance, do your customers require stuff like monitoring for leaks or something like that, or is that exclusively on the customer's responsibility?
Great question. So we actually monitor all of the environmentals in the data center. We are responsible for bringing that water to you, to your racks, and if there are any leaks, we're responsible. We have the alarms, so we'll take care of filling leaks. I will tell you, fortunately, we haven't seen much of it at all. The bigger challenge that we see is getting the flow rates right, so that we're getting the right amount of cold water through your racks to keep them cool. So there's a fair amount of time that we'll spend with Dell on the front end as you're going through a deployment or implementation to make sure those flow rates are optimal for your environment. And that's going to change too. You're going to, depending upon which types of GPUs you're deploying, how many you're deploying in a rack, that's going to determine how much water flow, what the inlet temperature is going to be, all that. So there's a fair amount that goes into it on the front end, but assuming we get all of that right up front, it runs pretty smoothly.
Just one more quick question. Have you gotten any pushback from utility companies about building these data centers because they simply don't have the capacity to supply power?
That's a constant for us. So we're in a constant negotiation with utility companies on power allocation. And before we'll invest any power, we make sure that we have the right contractual commitments from utilities so that we can act, so we know if a building like what we have here, if it's designed for 72 megawatts, we're going to make sure that 72 megawatts is coming in. It's actually like 100 MVA is coming in from the utility before we'll start the build. Or we'll do it modularly. We'll just build half of it for 36, and then we can always add the other data hall and the other set of lineups at a later date.
How do you compare to other data center companies like Switch, for example, right?
So, besides having the most handsome, beautiful sales organization, I will tell you, so I've been with the company for 13 years now, and the company was founded in about 2000, and it was in about 2005, 2006 that we began engaging with oil and gas companies. We were founded in Houston, Texas, and we weren't just supporting like traditional enterprise racks. We were working with the scientists, the researchers who are doing the seismic processing. So high performance compute has been in our DNA from almost the outset. We've been doing liquid cooling since 2010. And so what I would say is that understanding of how to support high performance compute is a major differentiator. I'm not suggesting that our competitors can't do it. We just have been doing it a very long time. The other thing that I would share is the whole capital investment that's required. Without private equity backers like KKR and BlackRock, it's pretty tough to do this sort of thing. We used to be publicly held until just over 3 years ago. It became increasingly difficult to be able to either get the loans or have to issue more stock in order to fund these kinds of investments. We literally have billions of dollars out there in just supply chain. That doesn't include the land, that doesn't include the power purchase agreements, any of that. It's just this equipment that's required in order to keep the data center up and running. So I would say those three things, because I'm going to stick with our sales force are pretty good looking. And the others?
Now you mentioned if for further questions, I'm sure you'll be sticking around a little bit, but that suite, tell us about that one more time.
Thank you very much. So it's Suite 3916. It's in the Palazzo Tower, and we'll all be there in about half an hour, and we'll be there until about 4 o'clock. So if you've got the time, if you're thirsty, come on up. We'd love to chat with you. Thank you very much.
Now don't go anywhere. I'm going to have Mr. Fred go ahead and pick our raffle winner for this presentation. And don't go far because we have 3 more presentations this afternoon as well. Thank you, Mr. Fred.